47. That's Mijam Soklic of Slovenia, who's decided to call it a day, finding these uphills too punishing. And that's a really disappointment when you prepare so hard, so long.
But it will be big gaps here in the uphill in the second round. And Marit Björgen is going very, very hard.
She's ahead of Badanova, the 29-year-old Russian, formerly known as Mazalkina. Great junior, and it's taken a time for her to really show what she can do in terms of the senior race, but she's the only racer at the moment, Inge, who's keeping pace with Marit Björgen.
Yeah, and she is also a good skater.
And Lars Rocha from Switzerland also out of the competition, and this is very surprising. There's Björgen just behind in third place there, Oksana Yatskaya, and just beginning to struggle a little bit.
Yeah, and it's not that far away to the others. I think it is between 5 and 10 seconds to the group number 2.
As you see these two in picture here, Björgen and Badanova, Inge, different styles.
Yeah, they are using the upper body more, the Russian girls. They are very strong in the upper part of the body, but Marit Björgen is also almost the same as the Russian. That's been the strength for the Russian for all years. They're going a little bit otherwise, as you say, David.
And Neumanova has got herself out of the traffic problems, and you can see Neumanova there probably in about 1, 2, 3, 4 share of 5th place at the moment, and 63 in some distress there. That's Teodora Malcheva of Bulgaria, and this is a horrible sight when you've prepared so hard, you've looked forward to a race, and it's just too tough, and yet another one.
But I don't think that's that interesting to see the bad, excuse me, David, but the bad skiers going out of the track. It's more important what happened in the front. It's also very important what happened behind the 3 first. Where is Chepalova? Where is Neumanova? That's interesting before the skating start.
Yeah, Zabielova cruising along as well. Certainly going to play a part in this, I have a feeling, Olga Zabielova for Russia. And remember, when they come back into the stadium, they go into the pits and then change their skis. And interesting on this very warm day to see liquid being taken on board already.
More and more also in shorter competitions.
Marit Björgen getting a useful gap.
I think this is a little longer behind.
Yeah.
It's from number 4 to number 8, 9.
So after this, remember it's 7,500 meters, so they've still got 2,500 meters to do. Badanova, Chepalova.
But this is interesting. Chepalova is only 6 seconds behind the leader, and she is maybe the best in the skating.
Becky Scott, the Olympic pursuit champion, just a couple of seconds ahead of Katerina Neumanova. Peruzzi also in there, the best for Italy. And Kunzel, actually, despite all the problems, and Jochen Belli was not optimistic about her chances, up there, and Hilda Pedersen 28 seconds to find ahead of the young Pole, Kowalczyk and Kokina, who had that strong start, just slipping back, and Skofterud beginning to make her presence felt for Norway.
Also Shevchenko from Ukraine, one of the favorites. And still not Schmigel.
Now Schmigen clearly in trouble here.
Here she is. Maybe she will get out of the track sheet too. It seems like, yes.
Yeah, Christina Smigen, who before she won the world title in Val di Fiemme, said that this was not really a race that she thought she would enjoy, and nonetheless went through to win the world title in Italy, but it's not going to be a happy day or a defence, and this is not a good start to the championships for Christina Smigen from Estonia. And the front two, they really are opening up now. Björgen and Badanova on the charge, and that's a healthy advantage, Inge.
Yeah, it is, and maybe it's the gap is big enough for Bjørgen compared with Chepalova, but she's coming. Chepalova is coming.
The interesting thing for Chepalova is she was absolutely gutted, in tears, in losing the gold medal by just 1.2 seconds to Katarina Neumanova, and you could sense that she's channeling that controlled anger into her run. Then Chepalova, even though she's probably 7 or 8 seconds off the pace now, is such a good freestyle skater. As long as she can keep these two in her sights.
So she is the big favorite at the moment.
Right, so as they're coming down towards the stadium now, Inge, this is the all-important changeover. Now, changing over, it's really important to do this in a controlled, sensible way.
You can lose a lot of seconds if you're going a little bit too fast into the pit stop. We call it a pit stop. They don't stop, but it's a pit like in the Formula 1. And they have to also take the head with them. Suddenly you can lose up to 10 seconds doing something wrong in the pit stop.
So it's not as extreme as the biathletes when they come into the stadium to get ready for shooting.
But a little bit the same.
But you need to bring your heart rate down, control yourself so that you efficiently change equipment.
And you also have a work to do before the start of the competition. Where are my skis? Where do I have to go? In what way shall I do it?
So what are they going to change now as they come into the pits?
Both the skis and the poles, they go with poles 10 centimeters shorter than in classical technique, and also the skis are down to 177, 182.
And Julia Chepalova,
20 centimeters shorter.
Julia Chepalova's done a great job here in third place, pit stop. Marit Bjørgen in there and running, and Baranova. Now this is the management.
4.1 second is Chepalova behind. Parozzi also good in this first classical technique.
And remember, the Italians, they've had a 1-2, Pietro Pilacotra and his roommate Fulvio Valbuza. And Bjørgen very efficient, getting out there, but it's not necessarily a commanding lead, but look at the others. She has been, of the first three, she's been the most efficient.
Yeah, the Russian had no good pit stop. But the pit time for Julia Chepalova was 2.2 of a second better than Marit Bjørgen. I couldn't believe that because I thought the lap was a little bit bigger.
Into the pits there, that's Hilda Pedersen in that characteristic white hat, the mother of twins, 40 years of age, but so disappointing not to race in the 10-kilometer freestyle. And Hilda Pedersen, who's in cracking form, Inge.
Yeah, but she's a half a minute behind Marit Bjørgen after the classical. She should be 15 seconds in front.
Now they're going out for 3.75 meters again. They've got to do it twice, but this time they're going out onto the Zimmeroy track, and this, Inge, is very different to the steep climbs of the Bergstall.
Yeah, more flat. They have the steep uphill just after 100 meters, but that's only a couple 100 meters long. Then we have a flat part of the course, and then we have an uphill after 1.5 kilometers. But it's not that long as in the classical technique. So it's a much easier course.
So Marit Bjørgen, who won the Val di Fiemme World Cup pursuit earlier in the season, leads from Baranova. Chepalova, who has to be respected, the Olympic pursuit, fourth place for Chepalova, and she's only got 4 seconds to find. Gabriella Paruzzi under 10 seconds off the pace of the leaders, and then the Olympic pursuit champion Becky Scott from Canada travelling with Gabriella Paruzzi, and Oksana Yatskaya, who showed up so well early on, well, she's got 10 seconds to find. And Claudia Kunzel, who's one of the great finishers, Claudia Kunzel, if Kunzel is feeling better and better, then she can take a part in this. She's been 9th and 3rd in the 2 World Cup races coming into these championships, and Neumanova 20 seconds behind the leaders. So this was a replay of Julia Chepalova coming in to change her skis, and Chepalova in terms of change time in the pits,
She was number 6. She was 1.6 of a second behind. Lassila from Finland was the best one.
So, at the half distance, this is the order you can see on your screens there. Claudia Kunzel and Katarina Neumanova. Steyr, who was successful in Prajalato, the dress rehearsal for the Olympics, the Norwegian. And up front, Bjørgen.
And they are going together, she and Chapalova.
And there's the pit time that Inge was referring to. Hilda Pedersen pretty quick, Claudia Kunzel impressive. And what would that be? That would be about 30 metres gap here, Inge, between the front two and the next three.
It's the Baranova Masolkina that can't have the same speed as Bjørgen and Chapalova. I think that this will be a fight between Chapalova and Marit Bjørgen.
But also don't rule out Peruzzi and Becky Scott.
The best for Becky Scott this season, I think.
Becky Scott, who really didn't come into World Cup action until after the turn of the year. And she was a winner of no less than 5 NORAM titles over in North America in December. That's where she made her preparation. And Becky Scott, now 30 years of age, who splits her time between Canmore in Canada and Bend in Oregon.
But she lost 5 seconds, David, at the pit time, Becky Scott. She was almost 5 seconds slower than the others.
So here we are, 9,000 metres, so still 6,000 metres to go. And Becky Scott, wearing 19, leading the chase here. And she's got to find 9 seconds. Peruzzi with a Baranova slipping off the pace now. Well, this is where we're looking for 1 or 2 to come from behind, particularly where is Neumanova. 18, that's Yatskaya, still just keeping herself in the race, looking for at least a World Championship PB in the double pursuit. Kunzel losing time.
Yeah, lost 9 seconds, Kunzel, but Steyr 1 second faster than Bjørgen Chapalova.
And Steyr very impressive in Prajalato on the high altitude trails, tough trails, so maybe Steyr can close up.
And also in this steep uphill, her weight is not more than 45 kilos, so this is no problem for her.
6 going through. Is that that was Kowalczyk going through with Shevchenko. But Julia Chapalova, this is fascinating because here you've got a woman up front who is the reigning world sprint champion, and the woman behind her is the Olympic sprint champion from Salt Lake City. These days, Julia Chapalova doesn't really rate herself too much as a sprinter, but she's going to stay in behind Bjørgen. I think she's going to make Bjørgen do all the work and just feel the pressure all the way. The real question is whether this little group, Becky Scott wearing the red hat, Peruzzi just behind in the white hat for Italy, Baranova just dropping off the pace, not so proficient in the freestyle skate. And this is a tantalising gap that Becky Scott is trying to close.
They're going very fast, both Scott and Peruzzi. They're not losing anything to the two in front.
But this is a very quick trail today, even under these very warm temperatures. And I think the problem for Becky Scott and Peruzzi is because Julia Chapalova is right on Marit Bjørgen's tail. Marit Bjørgen is actually at maximum.
Yeah, and why is she going in front? Why couldn't Chapalova be in the front instead of Marit Bjørgen? I don't think Marit Bjørgen will get the gap to Chapalova before the finish line. But also, David, very important is what about the glide down to the stadium after the half lap of the skating technique? I think that's very important to watch.
It'd be nice when we see next time perhaps a little contrast in styles between the way you ski classic and the way you ski freestyle. Peruzzi just getting ahead there of Becky Scott.
Yeah, it's more strength you need when you're doing the skating. That's also why the skaters are training the classical technique a lot.
And Peruzzi realizing that she's got to get going now. Of course, Gabriella Peruzzi, one of the stalwarts of the women's Italian squad, last year's World Cup champion. But of course, today is all about World Championship medals, and they are looking to me as if they're just closing on the front two.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. It's only 4 or 5 seconds now.
And Peruzzi, of course, the Olympic gold medalist in Salt Lake City, over 30,000 meters, but that was, of course, in classic style. In the World Championships, no individual medals, relay bronze and silver, but Peruzzi, hungry in her 35th year to get that elusive individual gold medal.
And I think this steep uphill, just you can see them now, will be the most important in the second lap. We saw the Nordic combine in the same uphill yesterday. Marit Björgen have to try to do it there, but now it's Chepalova.
Yeah, Chepalova deciding that she thinks that
she's going away.
Yeah, she's deciding that Marit Björgen's only got one pace and one gear, and Chepalova, who would have been reading the body language of Marit Björgen from behind, and has decided to go. Now, there are 2 reasons why she's decided to go. One, the body language of Marit Björgen. Secondly, the information she's getting from her coaches on the side there about the progress of Peruzzi and Scott.
Yeah. That's what Chepalova heard, I think. So it was a little bit too slow in the leading group.
And interesting there that Neumanova and Kunzel are travelling together.
And also Steira. They were together also last time. It was Perseus start Steira and Neumanova.
So into the stadium comes Julia Chepalova, coached by her father, Anatoly. They're very much a team that do their work separately from the Russians. 28 years of age. Greatest early claim to fame coming in Nagano when she was almost omitted from just about every race, but then they put her into the 30k race, the freestyle skate there, and she took gold. And from that moment she was one of the world stars in this sport. Now look at the gaps there. Björgen with a 12-second advantage over Peruzzi and Scott. Baranova slipping back, but how far are Neumanova? Neumanova and Steira, 25 seconds. So to get to Björgen, they've got to find about 20 seconds.
Yeah, but up to the bronze medal, it's only 10 seconds.
Yatskaya slipping back there. Lassila likewise. Pedersen has clearly not got what it takes today, Inge. To 44 seconds off the pace now for Hilda Pedersen. It's not going to be a medal, I'm afraid.
It's more and more. But what about the steep uphill? They are starting off the 100 meter. Will the gap from Chepalova be even bigger?
Well, out they go on the last 3. So here we are with Julia Chepalova opening up a wider margin here over Marit Björgen, who, Inge, looks as if she's getting a little tired now.
She's struggling. The technique is not that good as it was in the start of this skating lap. I think she did too much in the classical technique, Marit Björgen. But we also know that Chepalova is the best skater in the world when she is in good shape.
And you saw the little graphic there telling you that the gap is virtually 75 meters between Julia Chepalova of Russia, who was 8th and 5th in the 2 double pursuit World Cup races, the build-up races to these World Championships, and has made no secret that she's been preparing solely for the World Championships here in Oberstdorf. And Chepalova looking very strong, and now from here, Inge, she really won't want to let this go.
What's interesting here, David, is can Marit Björgen keep the gap to Becky Scott and to Peruzzi?